Hey there, everybody. I'm Father Chris Decker. I hope that your holidays are going well. And I thought that while we have just this little break, this little time where there's nothing happening, everybody's kind of laying low, that I would help to begin to maybe draw some churchy things. I thought that maybe the model that I'm going to take here on out is one that I learned when I was a kid from an artist named Ed Emberley. Now, he was a children's cartoonist. And he had books of all sorts of makes and models, different colors. One of my favorites was the Big Red drawing book, so much so that I ended up buying it years later. I probably destroyed the copy that I got from the library. It's one of those books I checked out over and over and over again. And one of the ways that he had to teach you how to draw something was by giving you a shape and then telling you where the shape was going to be. And so we can see in the book here, this is for drawing a hook and ladder. This is for drawing a fire truck. But if you can see that you don't just start out with drawing the whole fire truck, but rather you begin with learning how to draw the bits and pieces of it first. Like actually the fire engine itself is what you learn to draw first. And you can see, okay, so here there's a little square, and then it tells you where to put the square. And then here there's a little vertical line and a horizontal line, and it tells you where to put those. And then there's another box, and it tells you where to put those. And so you see it just stacks on top of each other until eventually you put all these shapes where it tells you to, and then you get an increasingly more complex image. So you see you've got the fire engine here, but then you put the wheel on it. And then once you put the wheel on it, you color it in, and then it shows you where to put all sorts of little details and things like that. And then once you turn the page, you can get even more clever because you have the first part done. Well, this way you can make a pumping truck. Or if you use the front fire engine, you can then teaches you how to draw a snorkel truck. If you keep going, you can do a hook and ladder. So this was one of my favorite books as a kid. All sorts of different things to draw. And so I thought maybe it would be cool to do a Catholic version of this. And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to let's draw a chalice together using that same schema of having a shape and then where to put the shape. So first thing we need our camera. So I'm going to pop over into our camera looking down. Actually, this is just looking directly at my feed, my iPad. But I do have a pad cam that I think that shows you everything down on my desk. But we'll go to this one because it's a little bit easier to see for the time being. So you can see what I have here. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shapes, and I've arranged them kind of vertically. And so we're just going to go through from top to bottom, and we're going to put these shapes together. So let's do that. All right, so I'm going to get my pen here. Now you can use pen and paper. You don't have to use an iPad, although it is really cool to use an iPad, I have to admit. But it's by no means required. So let's start. Okay, so I'm gonna just bring my size up on my. And so the first thing is this ellipse, this circle shape. Let's see, let me do this. This circle shape here is the first thing. That's what we see. Okay, so we're gonna go and we're going to go and draw that circle shape. All right, here it comes. It's an ellipse, huh? So it's kind of like an elongated circle. And you don't have to be perfect. You can kind of clean up a little bit if you need to. I'm going to use my eraser and clean it up a little bit. Never be afraid to use your eraser. Let me tell you, I make a number of mistakes every day. Some of them are on paper. So never be afraid to use your eraser. Okay, the next shape is a kind of a U shape, right? You see that kind of a U shape that's below the ellipse, and we're gonna just draw that underneath here. Get down to around the middle, you then come around. Okay, so see we have basically the cup part of the chalice. And then we're going to draw a circle. And that circle is going to go right underneath the cup. Doesn't have to be a perfect circle. You can see mine is not. And the next are two lines that are curved at the top, making kind of an S. And it curves down at the bottom again. And so we're going to curve up at the top and then curve down at the bottom. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Curved up at the top and then down at the bottom. And then there's kind of like a smaller version of the second piece, that little U shape. This one is just going to be the bottom of the chalice. And so there we go. That's a whole chalice. And we've drawn it, and there it is. And so now that you've drawn the chalice, you can embellish it any sort of way that you want. So some of the things I like to do is I'll draw like a lip to the chalice, and then maybe another little thing here. And then if you want, you can make all sorts of little flourishes. And these are just based on some of your artistic ability, and this is where you can get really clever, you know? This is where you just get to have fun. You see, oof. You have to let me know if there's something. And then, you know, because it's a chalice, give kind of a little hint that it's round. Oh dear. Let's see. Here we go. See? Then you can. See how much fun that is. Okay. And then I'm gonna do just a little. And maybe there's something in it. Maybe there's wine ready to be consecrated to become the precious blood of Jesus. In that case. There we go. And you can color this in too if you want. I'm just going to create another layer here on Procreate. Oh, and I need to make this the reference layer so that I can color it in. And then maybe you do. Maybe you want to color it in. So you can pick some of your colors. Oh, apparently I'm still blind. Let me try this again. Oh, there we go. All right. Yeah. Of course, you can pick what colors you want yours to be. Make sure I got my layers right there. You don't have to follow me exactly. This is a highlight, so we'll just color in the highlight there. Yeah, now we're having fun. And let's see here, and then color that. And then maybe the little filigree bits here are also that lighter yellow color. You see, that's the thing, is it doesn't have to be really ornate, but if you want to do that, you have a lot of ability to do that. You can have a lot of fun just with the filling in bits, you know? Maybe this is the same color. Oh, well, maybe that is. Maybe it's a little happy accident. Let's see. I kind of like that it's a little bit of a different color. All right, and then maybe the node is kind of a deep blue color. How's that? Of course, oh yeah, I've got to color this in here, this little bit. Yep. And then again, maybe inside, we're using red, because red is the color of blood, and some red wine, right? Want that color maybe a little bit deeper. And then a little, maybe all right, Don't think I like this being two-tone. I'm just gonna go and change that again. There we go. Sometimes whenever you're drawing something or painting, you're like, oh, let me just experiment, and the experiment doesn't quite turn out the way you want. But so this is where we get. We're here from these shapes on the side going top to bottom, and then all together they become this chalice. And this is something that you can draw anytime you want. And once you've learned how to do it, you just kind of follow those shapes over and over, and then you can get even more ornate as the time goes on. So I hope that this was a fun exercise for you, and I look forward to making more of these drawings. If you think it would be something that you'd like to see, please let me know in the comments. Until then, see you later.